Hello, my name's Caroline. I'm a Careers Advisor with Skills Development Scotland, or SDS. SDS is Scotland's skills agency and career service. Welcome to the webinar Facing and Embracing Change, where I'll cover everything you need to know about how to create positive changes in your work and life. This session is based on section 1 of the Positive Steps to Your Future Handbook, and you can access this electronically at www.skillsdevelopmentscotland.co.uk. Once on the website, you would click on the Publications and Statistics section and search using the keyword Positive Steps. You might want to take some notes during the session, so please grab a pen and paper if you wish to do so. So let's have a look at what we will cover in the session today. We'll think about the best ways to deal with change and move on effectively, and this will help you deal with change both now and in the future. I'll help you think about how changes can affect you and some of the feelings you might have about change. I will also look at some of the barriers that you might face and ways to overcome them. Developing your career management skills can be really beneficial, as good career management skills mean that you can deal with change and move on effectively at any stage in your working life. It can also be useful to adopt a holistic approach to managing your career situation by taking into account other aspects of your life which might be affected by change, and I will look at ways to do this. And finally, I will consider the concept of luck and how you can start to create your own luck. So let's start by considering how you feel about change. As you will see on the screen, there are a range of emojis to show how you may feel about change. Have a think about your own feelings towards change. How does it make you feel? If you have a pen and paper to hand, take a moment to write a word or a few words, or draw an emoji to show how you feel about change. So you may have written words like worried, uncomfortable, confused, unhappy. It might not just be you that could be affected by change. Any change that you're experiencing can have an impact on other people in your life, and they also might have their own ways of dealing with it. I want to reassure you that it's really normal to experience a range of feelings and emotions when dealing with change, and you might experience a whole range of different emotions even over a short period of time. To give you an example, if you get a job interview, you might feel really excited and energised and engaged, but then if you don't get the job, you might feel fed up and disappointed. Change at work and in life is inevitable. Sometimes these changes are small, but sometimes they can be significant. There are two main changes that we're going to look at with you that might impact you directly. The first is planned change, and these happen when you make deliberate decisions to make a change. So for example, you may apply for a promotion at work, or outside of work you may decide to join a gym because you want to get fit. The other type of changes are unplanned changes, and these are unexpected or unforeseen. So your employer may decide to make jobs redundant or changes to your terms and conditions of employment. We appreciate that changes can be challenging and distressing, but they can also present opportunities. So for example, redundancy could free you of a job that you dislike and allow you to do something different and more challenging. We spoke about how you might feel about change. On the next slide, we will introduce you to the change curve that can help you understand the process of change and how it can affect you emotionally. Again, it's really normal to experience a range of feelings around change. The change curve shows how you feel when you're experiencing change and how you react to what is happening. So this is the change curve, and it shows the different stages that people go through when making a change and the impact that it can have on both them and their emotions. Again, let's take a moment to think about a change you have encountered. How did it make you feel? Can you see the changes you went through on the curve? A good way to illustrate the change curve is to introduce you to a customer who we're going to call Eric. So Eric had worked in the hospitality industry for around 25 years and decided to accept voluntary severance from his employer. Eric spoke to his careers advisor at Skills Development Scotland for support to move on. Initially, Eric had a one-to-one appointment with the advisor to discuss his next steps and arrange subsequent meetings with the same advisor as he progressed through the change he was experiencing. Eric was able to talk about his experience dealing with change and how it related to the stages on the curve. Eric was really keen to emphasise that he didn't move through the stages in the curve in a logical order, but moved back and forward between the stages as he explored a whole range of options. So let's look at the stages that Eric went through. Initially, when Eric was offered the offer of voluntary severance from his employer, he was in a state of shock and felt really worried about the future. He found it really difficult to picture anything beyond his current job, and this felt really scary. After a period of thought and time to think about his future, Eric did decide to accept the voluntary severance package. And after this, he was in a state of denial. Eric felt he had plenty of time to find another job, and he had the comfort of the financial incentive that he had received from his voluntary severance package, so he felt there was no hurry to look for alternative work. After becoming unemployed, Eric felt periods of frustration as his employer had been unable to fund the training that he wished to complete. And Eric felt frustrated that he had left his job without this, as he felt it would have opened up a whole range of other career opportunities for him. Eric also experienced periods of depression and low mood, as once he left his employment, he wasn't seeing a lot of people. He also had limited IT access and a lack of career direction. Eric did start to engage with SDS on a regular basis and was able to access IT support through his local library and completed online learning to improve his IT skills. He also spent time researching his career ideas. Eric worked with the SDS advisor over a period of time to identify his skills and strengths, and got to a place where he could confidently articulate these to a potential employer, both on his CV and interview. Eric is still exploring a range of career options, including education, work and training. Some he is still researching, and others he has decided not to pursue. Over a period of time, Eric was able to fully reach the integration stage where everything was in place. Some people may take longer than others to reach this stage, and as mentioned, people journey back and forth between the different stages before they're fully able to embrace change. With any change you go through like Eric, you're bound to experience a range of different emotions, and this can affect your morale and confidence, and it can act as a barrier to progress and future success. As mentioned, it is normal to experience these kind of feelings, but by assisting Eric to work through the change curve to identify barriers that were stopping him from moving on, particularly frustration and depression around areas like lack of financial security, lack of IT access and lack of confidence in his ability to make change. These acted as barriers to Eric moving forward. So let's have a look at some of the barriers that you may currently be facing. What are the barriers you feel may be preventing you from achieving your goals and making a positive change in your life? Again, if you have a pen and paper to hand, you might wish to note down some examples. I've also included some examples on the screen that you may be able to identify with. When facing change, many people see barriers regardless of what the change is, and these can help you moving forward. If you don't overcome these barriers, they can stop you reaching your potential. So as you can see, there are a whole range of barriers on the screen, and these fall into two main areas or categories. The first of these is practical barriers, which are things like caring responsibilities, feeling there are lack of opportunities, feeling you have a lack of qualification, worries over finance. Money worries can be really common, as you may feel that you can't afford the training that would help you move on. It could be that a career change might result in a loss of income, and this can feel really daunting. You may also experience a range of emotional barriers like Eric did, things like lack of self-confidence, fear of the unknown, or having a negative self-image. A fear of the unknown can prevent you from making a change, even if you're really unhappy with your current situation. Focusing on barriers can stop you making a change and lead to low self-esteem and lack of confidence, and this can result in really negative feelings. So you might have feelings like, I'm too old to make a change, but flip this round and think about all the really useful knowledge and experience that you can give to a potential employer. If you feel you're overqualified, Think about how to highlight the relevant skills and experience to the level of role that you're applying for so that a future employer can see how you're the ideal candidate. Also, speaking with a careers advisor can help you feel more positive about the future and what you might have to offer. An advisor might be able to help you find courses that are free if you're concerned about finance, or they might be able to help you get in touch with someone who knows about a job that you might be interested in or have a role available that you might fit into. All of the services from Skills Development Scotland are free and confidential, and you can access the support of a careers advisor by calling our helpline on 0800 917 8000. One really good way to combat negative feelings is to focus on things that are going well in your life. I'm going to introduce you to the activity called 3 Good Things, and this is an activity that can help you overcome negative bias in your perception of events. This small exercise helps you look at things in your life in a much more positive and optimistic way, and hopefully will boost happiness. So how does the activity work? Every night before going to bed, think back over your day and remember 3 good things that have happened, things that have went well, things that you have enjoyed and things that you're grateful for. Have a think about a good thing that has happened over the last few days. Again, if you have a pen and paper, you might wish to take a note of this. This can be really small things like I had a really nice lunch, I bumped into someone I've not seen for a while, or I've managed to complete that 5k I've been training for a while. Examples will be different from everyone and are really personal. So start by doing this every night for a week. Take a note of good things either in a notebook or download an app on your phone. For everything that you're grateful for, think about what it is about it that makes you feel good. And this might be tricky at first, but I'm sure you will eventually get the hang of it. After a week or a few days, take a look back over what you've written or recorded. How does it make you feel to look at all these good things? Are any themes coming through? Again, take time over the weeks and months to go back over all the good things that you've done, and hopefully this will put a smile on your face. Many people start to adopt this as a regular bedtime habit, and it helps you maintain a much more positive outlook in life, and it will help you start to appreciate all the good things that are happening around you. So when we start to look at the good things in our life, other things can start to look up as well, and it can help us see the benefits of change. Have a think about what some of the benefits of change might be for you. We're going to have a look at this in more detail on the next slide. So as I said earlier in this workshop, change is inevitable, but many of us really fear change. The 3 Good Things exercise can help you feel much more positive about change, and it can also help you identify the benefits that change might bring to your life. On this slide you will see some of these. It is really important to think about change in a positive way and be prepared for it, as it will enable you to move on successfully and achieve your goals. Earlier in the session we talked about both planned and unplanned change. Think back to the words you described about how you feel about change. Unplanned change can feel scary, but it can allow you to experience new things. For example, you may have had no choice in being made redundant, but the opportunity to change has allowed you to reprioritise your work-life balance and embark on a job or career that you've always wanted to try. Of course, change involves decision making, and the good news is that the more decisions you make and the more often you deal with change, the more you can reflect on the quality of your own decision making skills. Recognising when and how you make good decisions means you can make more of them. And there is much more information available in our Horizon Scanning webinar that you can access after today's workshop. Crucially, the key thing is to make a start on dealing with change. Don't wait until you feel like it. You will find that motivation comes from action, so the more action you take, the more motivation is likely to follow. Start with small hurdles or steps, and once you see the results of these efforts, you're more inclined to keep going. The process can start by making plans and setting goals, and this is something your careers advisor can help you with. And as I said, there is much more advice and support on this in the webinar Horizon Scanning. Have a think about a small change you could make in your life. That is likely to have a positive impact both on you and those around you. What would this change be? Again, if you have a pen and paper, take a moment to note this down. Can you put a time scale on this change? It's useful to think that change can take time. A successful career change can take weeks, months, or even years. And to help keep you motivated, it can be helpful to think about how you would feel if you hadn't made this change. How would you feel if you were still in the same situation in 6 months or a year? Compare this to how you would feel if you did make the change. One of the best ways to avoid stress when dealing with change is through planning and preparation and taking control of your own situation. SDS advisors support individuals through change by helping them identify and develop career management skills, or CMS, and these are skills for life. By understanding the 4 different areas of CMS, you can be better prepared to make well-informed decisions and positive changes about your future career, job and learning. So the 4 areas within CMS are self, understanding your personality, interests and values. What motivates you? What ethos are you looking for in a future employer? Strengths, knowing how to describe your skills and strengths and achievements. What personal qualities will help you move forward? What transferable skills that you can take from your previous employment into a new role? Horizons, exploring information on work, training and learning, and this will help you recognise a range of different learning opportunities or just general opportunities that might be open to you. Networks, who can help you and assist you make progress to achieve your goal. If we think back to Eric, we can consider his needs within each of the CMS framework. In terms of self, Eric had worked unpredictable hours for about 25 years, so work-life balance was really important to him in a new career. He wanted to work for more than just the financial rewards it would give him. He also wanted to work for an employer where he would be treated well and work around people who he could build positive relationships with. Eric felt his main barriers to moving forward were lack of confidence, limited IT access and a fear of the unknown. In terms of strengths, Eric had worked in a supervisory role and had trained and mentored new starts. He had hoped to complete Train the Trainer certificate with his previous employer, but unfortunately this hadn't materialised. This was something that Eric was keen to do moving forward, as he felt it would open up opportunities in training and development. Eric was able to identify some of his key skills, including excellent customer service skills, a talent for building relationships with returning guests, excellent listening and communication skills, and a dedicated member of staff. In terms of horizons, Eric worked through a range of options with his SDS advisor over a number of meetings. Eric's main priority was to return to education, and he was keen to learn. He spent a lot of time researching career options to look at jobs that he was interested in and how these linked to learning opportunities. As well as roles in the sector he had been in, hospitality, he also looked at jobs in emerging industries such as data science. He also looked at things like historical property management. Eric felt his main barrier to returning to education was finance, and he spent a lot of time discussing this with funding bodies such as the Student Awards Agency for Scotland, or SAS. Eric is still looking at several options, including full-time and part-time education, and he has also worked on improving his IT skills. Eric had a good support network of ex-work colleagues that he tapped into regularly, and he also worked closely with a range of professionals, including SDS, his local library, and DWP, or Job Centre Plus, to get as much support as he could. It's really useful to get the balance right when considering your next steps and where to prioritise your effort. Taking a helicopter view can be really helpful, and one of the tools that you might want to use as part of this is the Wheel of Life. So this is the Wheel of Life, and it's a really powerful tool because it gives you a visual representation of where your life is currently, and also to help you think about where you would like to be in the future. It's called the Wheel of Life because each area of your life is mapped on a circle like the spokes of a wheel. When changing job or career, having a holistic approach that looks at all the areas of your life that might be affected by a change in career can be really useful, and it can also be really useful to think about the impact this might have on other people in your life. You will be able to find various templates around the Wheel of Life online, or you can create your own, and you can use your own headings as well. In order to use this, you would chart how you feel about each area on the wheel using a number scale, with 1 being you're feeling less positive and 10 being you feel really positive about this area, and you would mark the corresponding point on the wheel. You would repeat this for each area of your life that you wish to focus on. Bear in mind that a low score is not always a bad thing, as it might remain low as this is not an area of your life that you want to prioritise at the moment. So you can take some time after this session to think about your own wheel of life and prioritise the areas that you would like to work on in terms of life and career goals. As you take action and move on, you will see that your scores will change, and you can redo this exercise over time. So let's look at Eric's wheel of life. So here is Eric's wheel of life. On the left, you will see his wheel when he initially engaged with SDS, and the wheel on the right shows how this changed after he worked with an advisor over a period of months. You can see that Eric's attitude and approach to personal growth were positive, so he didn't feel that he needed to address these areas. Eric's thoughts on family remained low, but he had no immediate family, so his score in this area didn't need attention. This meant that Eric could spend time working on the areas that he felt he was keen to improve on, such as career, finance, relationships and social life. And it was great to see that over time Eric was able to improve in all of these areas. Eric was physically fit, but his mental health had suffered after leaving his employment. He recognised that making positive changes in his career, finance, relationships and social life could all have an impact on his mental health. So try creating your own wheel of life after today's session to think about where your own priorities lie and revisit this over a period of time once you start to make some changes. Sometimes changing a difficult situation isn't always possible, and it can be really helpful to accept the things that you can change and try to focus on the things that you have control over. So for example, if your company's going under and making staff redundant, you can't have a lot of impact on this, but you can have an impact on how you react to this. So you could focus on things that you can control, such as building a CV, taking up learning, starting to look at new job opportunities, or arranging to speak to an SDS advisor. A feeling of loss of control is one of the main causes of stress and lack of well-being, so the act of taking control can be really empowering, and it can be a really crucial way to find a solution and to work towards a goal that is right for you. We're going to look at the circle of control on the next slide to illustrate this. So the circle of control is divided into 3 areas. The first area is the red outer circle, and this is known as the circle of concern. This contains things that you might be concerned about and might lose sleepless nights over, but no amount of sleepless nights or worry will come up with a solution for them. So if you can't change them, move on and focus on things that you can have an impact on. The next circle is the green circle, and this is the circle of control. The green circle contains things that you can have a direct control over, but you might still need some support to work on these. These are things like healthy eating and fitness. So you may join a gym, but you may need support to work through a fitness plan. For each of these areas, think about how you can approach them. Think about, would you do so reluctantly or confidently? Keep well by doing things that make you feel good, such as eating healthily, doing regular exercise and keeping a routine. The last area of the circle is the blue circle, and this is the circle of influence. And this contains things that you don't have direct control over, but you can influence, so you can do something about them, even if you don't know how to at the moment. You can get support to work on these things. So these are things like feeling there are a lack of skills, training and experience. So you could work on this with an SDS advisor to look at possible areas where you could retrain, build on your current skills, or areas where you could use your transferable skills and experience. So if you're wanting or having to make a change in your job or career, a really good tool can be to start writing things down and acknowledge your current situation. I'm going to introduce you now to Maria. And Maria was a customer of Skills Development Scotland who was working in nursing but wanted to make a transition out of her current career. At her initial meeting, Maria didn't believe that she had anything to offer in other sectors due to feeling that her skills were really specialised. Maria met with a careers advisor and spent time exploring the tasks that she carried out on a daily basis in her current work. Maria spoke about caring for patients at work, but also looking after her family at home. Maria was able to identify different scenarios where she had used not only her specialist skills for nursing, but a whole range of other skills that were transferable to other job roles and professions. The careers advisor introduced Maria to the Wheel of Life, and this helped identify the areas of Maria's life which were important to her and were contributing factors to Maria wishing to change her current job role. By writing down her current situation at the start of the conversation and reflecting on this throughout the appointments, Maria was able to see her own skills and strengths and areas in her life she hoped to improve. Over time, Maria started to believe she had skills and strengths that she could transfer to other job areas. So Maria started to see and believe. Maria could then identify actions that she needed to take in order to move out of nursing. These actions included things like using www.myworldofwork.co.uk, using the strengths tool on there to look at the areas where she was talented and describe how she might use her strengths. Maria also used the A to Z of job profiles in My World of Work to look for jobs both in health and social care, but also to look at roles in other sectors. Based on her research, Maria found that she would need to undertake training to move into the type of work she was interested in. She considered the impact this would have on her own life, but also those around her, and was able to identify that this was her desired new reality. Since then, Maria has embarked on education and hopes to move into a new job role in the future. So what about luck? Does luck play a part? Do you believe in luck? Are you lucky? Are some people luckier than others? The Roman philosopher Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when opportunity meets preparation." The good news is that you can create your own luck. It's not something that happens to you. Professor Richard Wiseman researched how preparation can be the key to feeling and being lucky. He tells us that lucky people maximise opportunities. They are skilled at creating, noticing and acting upon chance opportunities. At the beginning of the webinar, we considered how understanding your feelings towards change can help you move on successfully and be better prepared to take up opportunities when they arise. Lucky people act on their intuition. They trust their intuition when making choices. As mentioned earlier, there's much more about this in the Horizon Scanning webinar. They also expect good fortune. They create self-fulfilling prophecies via positive expectations, and this links back to the circle of control. We know that feelings we have can be really powerful. They also turn bad luck into good. They adopt a resilient attitude by not dwelling on ill fortune. We talked earlier about the impact of the 3 good things exercise, how this simple exercise concentrating on what is good in your life rather than what is bad can create optimism and resilience when even used over a short period of time. So for some people, the journey through change can feel like an emotional roller coaster. We have looked at the process of change via the change curve to show that these range of feelings are really normal and a part of dealing with change. We've explored ways to overcome any barriers to progress. We've spoke about ways to feel in control of your situation. Change can be an opportunity rather than a catastrophe, and we talked about the benefits that change can bring. We covered career management skills and the way they act as a framework to help you manage your career progress. If we think back to self, strengths, horizons and networks for a moment, we can consider some of the actions that you might want to take after today's webinar. So self, understanding yourself better can help you along your career path more easily. The 3 good things can help you feel much more positive about the good things in your life. You can create your own wheel of life to help you understand your priorities and to think about your next steps. Strengths. Knowing and being able to talk about what you're good at can help you give you more confidence. You can use the strengths tool at www.myworldofwork.co.uk, and this is a questionnaire that results in a strengths report to help you recognise your own strengths and describe your own abilities. Being aware of the options available to you allows you to make the most of any opportunities. The A to Z of job profiles on My World of Work is a great place to start to think about jobs you might like to do. You might also want to consider volunteering, community work and learning, as these can all help you try new things. Being open to ideas can also help you make a difference to your chance of career success. Terms and networks. It's much easier to move on in your career and life with the support of others around you. This network can include people you know and also people you meet. As we said, lucky people take advantage of planned and chance encounters to talk to people about the world of work. This could be friends, family, work colleagues, or someone you meet at the gym or walking the dog. Connections can be in person but also through social media. Create your own luck by taking action. If you're facing change now or in the future, the tips in this webinar will help you take action to create positive changes in your life. Take a moment to consider your next step. What is the first action you will want to take as a result of today's webinar? Again, take a moment to write down your thoughts. Please remember that this is not the end of the process. If you want to discuss your ideas or you're feeling unsure about your next steps, please call the Skills Development Scotland helpline on 0800 917 8000, where one of our fully qualified and experienced careers advisors will be really happy to offer you support. You can also click the link or scan the QR code on the screen to request a call back. If you prefer, you can also meet a careers advisor face-to-face at one of our Skills Development Scotland centres. Use the Find a Centre tool at www.myworldofwork.co.uk to find your local support. You can also find lots of useful information on the website to help you consider your options and move on successfully. And if you've enjoyed this webinar, do watch the others in the series Positive Steps to Your Future, available on the My World of Work YouTube channel. Thanks and goodbye for now.